All right, let's dive in. We're going to go on a journey from the total chaos of our inner thoughts to the kind of clarity that leads to real outer success. And it all starts with understanding this empty canvas that we all have inside of us.
But first, a question for you. I want you to really think about this for a second. Imagine you wake up tomorrow and poof, all your memories are gone. No job title, no relationships, no baggage from the past. Who are you? It's kind of terrifying, right? And that's because it shows us just how much of who we think we are is really just a story we've been telling ourselves. You see, that feeling, that little bit of terror, it pulls back the curtain on this fundamental conflict that's running our lives. It's this constant battle between our true self, our actual awareness, and that relentless chatter in our heads. So the real question is, are you the master in your mind, or are you just a slave to your thoughts?
The philosopher Alan Watts just nailed this problem. What he's saying here is that when we're stuck in that endless loop of thinking, we're not actually dealing with the world. Nope, we're just dealing with our own illusions about the world. We're completely disconnected from what's actually real.
And our minds are really slick about how they do this. They trap us in something we can call psychological time. Now, clock time, that's simple, right? It's for meetings and appointments. But psychological time, well, that's a mental prison. It's built from all the trauma of our past and all the anxiety about our future. And it completely blocks out the only thing that's actually real, this very moment, right now. So here it is, the single most important thing to get. That constant stream of worries and judgments and plans, that's not you. It's not. You are the quiet, spacious awareness that's just watching those thoughts go by. And realizing that there's a separation, that is the very first step to freedom.
Okay, so how do we actually find that freedom? Well, the first step is to find the space between our thoughts. And the key, the secret little tool to find that space, is something you're already doing about 20,000 times a day. It's your breath.
And look, we're not talking about some complicated spiritual thing here. Not at all. Meditation, at its core, is just a super practical cognitive tool. Think of it like an exercise. It's an exercise to create a tiny gap between an impulse and your reaction to it. And in that gap, that's where you find the power to choose how you want to respond.
And it can be so simple. Seriously, don't force a thing. First, just let the breath fall out of you. You know that feeling when you sink into a comfy couch after a super long day? Like that, just whoosh. Then, don't try to pull the next breath in. Just let it fall back into your lungs on its own. And if you do that, you'll start to notice, without any effort at all, your breathing just naturally starts to slow down.
This is exactly why the breath is so powerful. Think about it. Walking is a voluntary action. You choose to do it. Digestion, that's involuntary. It just happens. But breathing is both. It's this incredible bridge that shows us we can consciously influence the automatic, unconscious stuff that's happening in our minds and our bodies.
Now, this whole practice of finding the space, of using the breath, it allows us to come face to face with the one thing that absolutely hates empty space, our ego. And no, this isn't about being morbid. Dying before you die is just a really powerful way of talking about letting go of the false self we've spent our whole lives building.
So what is the ego? Well, it's the identity we build up that's based on fear. And man, it loves to be in control. It's sneaky. It'll disguise old trauma as valuable lessons, just to keep you scared. It'll rebrand your anxiety about the future as just being responsible. Its one and only job is to keep up the illusion that it is you. This is such a radical and liberating truth. You are not chained to the person you were yesterday. Not at all. The beliefs you had, the mistakes you made, the story you told yourself, you are under absolutely zero obligation to carry any of that into this moment. You can just let it go, right now. And that is what ego death really means. It's not some scary, literal thing. It's that profound aha moment when you realize you are not your past. It's the moment you see the ego's tricks for what they are, and you free yourself to live, really live, fully and authentically in the present. And you know what? When you make that shift on the inside, something pretty incredible starts to happen. The world on the outside, it starts to change too. You begin to see that the world isn't just happening to you. In a very real way, it's reflecting from you.
This classic quote just absolutely nails it. Your reality isn't shaped by some objective set of facts out there.
It's shaped by the beliefs you hold about those facts. Your conviction, whether it's positive or negative, literally becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Which brings us to this profound insight. Life is a mirror. It doesn't give you what you want, not really. It reflects back to you what you are. The energy, the beliefs, the whole perspective you're putting out there, that's exactly what you're going to get back. Okay, so you might be thinking, this inner work stuff is great, but how does it apply to the real world, like my job? Well, let's connect all this to the outer world, especially at work, because it turns out these principles of self-awareness aren't just for you. They are the absolute foundation for building incredible, high-performing, even genius-level teams. So let's connect those dots. How does mastering your own mind, your own ego, actually lead to building better teams and becoming a way more effective leader? The answer is probably not what you think. Back in 2012, Google started this massive study called Project Aristotle. They wanted to figure out the secret sauce for the perfect team. They looked at hundreds of their teams, they crunched a ton of data, and they assumed the answer would be, getting all the smartest people in one room. They were totally wrong.
The number one most important factor they found by a long shot was something called psychological safety. More than skills, more than anything else, what mattered was this. Did team members feel safe enough to be vulnerable? Could they take risks? Could they admit a mistake without being terrified of getting humiliated or punished? That was the key.
And here's where it all comes together. A leader who has done the inner work, who has faced their own ego and learned to operate from a place of presence instead of fear, that's the leader who can create genuine psychological safety. They use what we can call leadership languages, things like communicating a clear purpose, offering real mentoring, and giving honest feedback. These are the tools they use not to control people, but to empower their teams and build that foundation of safety. We started with a kind of terrifying thought, so let's end with a motivating one. This quote from Les Brown is it's such a powerful reminder of what's really at stake here. All that potential, all those incredible ideas and dreams, we can't let them stay buried. We started this journey with you imagining an empty canvas, but now you have the tools. You have the understanding to be the artist of your own life, not just a character in a story someone else wrote. So the only question left is, what will you create?